Hey everyone, and welcome to the second devlog of Victus, and I gotta say up front, it was quite an interesting week. It started out with the implementation of a new ability, since casters with the current abilities just could not get away from melees. Next, I updated the current flag shader to make flags look even better. Then, I did a ton of networking witchery, which is, believe me, the most scary thing programmers can encounter. Finally, I did some bad modeling, and I fought the cringe that I felt after watching my first devlog for 100 times over and over. Now, let's begin by talking about the ability. Right now, it's quite hard to get away from melees as a caster, so I wanted to add an ability that does exactly that. I called it Retreat. The game plan was that once casted, the player jumps backwards at a certain force and angle that's customizable for several abilities. All abilities in Victus are scriptable objects, and all are abstracted, so I can create several new types of abilities without implementing duplicate code. I added some visual effect using Unity's new particle VFX graph, and then after completing the code and the VFX effect, I wired everything up, created a prefab which spawns the VFX effect, and then finally, after quite some work, it was time to test. Well, this works perfectly fine. 11 out of 10 points. I debugged and found out that the way I'm calculating and applying the force is entirely wrong. So I did what true programmers do, and I went to Stack Overflow, which does the thinking for me. With the new approach, we can split the task into 3 subtasks. First, I access the transformed forward property of the player's transform component, which in return gives me the normalized forward direction in a 3-dimensional vector. I multiply that with a quaternion, which is rotated with the y rotation I want the player to be knocked back with. Then, I calculate the vertical angle by using the sinus function. At last, I set the velocity for the rigid body directly by multiplying the direction we calculated with the force we want to use. Finally, we instantiate an effect prefab and the ability is done. Now let's see all that in action. Next up, I implemented a new flag shader. I use Unity and the universal render pipeline. Because of that, I can use Unity's amazing shader graph to make effects like this flag. The flag itself is just a flat plane. With this shader, I can apply icons to the flag, calculate procedural holes and dirt noise to give the flag some texture. Finally, it looked like this. At last, I wrote the script for this devlog, and did a lot of networking witchery. I do not want to show you too much of my networking code, but I can show you a couple of things, and if you're interested you can always directly chat with me in the Discord. I use the Darkrift 2 networking framework, which is really amazing. and the servers are run on dedicated servers, are fully authoritative, which basically means that the clients cannot just modify variables in memory and produce unintended behavior on all other clients. The issue was that right now the different servers had very different logic, and therefore I did abstract only minor parts of the code. Now that I want to create new game modes, I had to abstract the game server's logic to support several game modes without implementing duplicate code. Currently, the 3 wanted game modes are Arena, which is the one you saw in both Devlogs and currently running in the background. Essentially, 2 teams of players fight to either kill the entire enemy team or destroy the enemy's core. Then there is Free Roam, which is a game mode meant to test new abilities for players and to support the player hub, which I'm working on right now. The last planned game mode for now is Hunt, where a team of players fights a mighty boss to gain powerful items and equipment. At last, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe since it helps spread the word. That's it for this week everyone, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and as always, have a great day.